Imagine you walk into a currency exchange, you have 1000 euros and you want dollars. The person at the counter checks the system and says, "Sorry, we don't have enough dollars available right now." The exchange is open, the computers are working, and the staff is sitting right there. You have the money, you want to trade, and yet the trade can't happen. Why? Because a currency exchange only works when it has enough dollars and euros available for people to trade. Crypto faced a similar challenge. How do you keep trading alive at the exchange when buyers and sellers are not always available, or when crypto coins are not available? And solution to this problem led to an important invention: liquidity pools. Today, platforms like Uniswap, PancakeSwap, and Aerodrome process billions of dollars in trades using liquidity pools. But what exactly is a liquidity pool? Let's go back to our currency exchange example. A currency exchange only works when it has enough dollars and euros available for people to trade. So how does the exchange make sure it always has enough dollars and euros? One solution is to keep an extra reserve. A reserve of dollars, a reserve of euros, ready to be used whenever people want to trade. That reserve helps keep trading alive. Crypto uses a very similar idea. A liquidity pool is simply a reserve of crypto coins kept ready for trading. Now you might be wondering, where does this reserve come from? After all, somebody has to provide these coins. The answer is simple. People deposit their crypto into the reserve. These people are called liquidity providers. Think of them as the people helping keep the shelves stocked. And because they are helping keep trading alive, they earn rewards in return. So the idea is actually pretty simple. The liquidity pool is the reserve, and the liquidity providers are the people who help fill it. But that raises an important question. What motivates liquidity providers to fill the reserve? Why would anyone lock up their crypto just to help other people trade? The answer is rewards. Every time someone uses the liquidity pool to trade, a small fee is charged. Those fees are then shared with the liquidity providers. In simple terms, they help keep the reserve stocked and get rewards for it. Let's pause for a second. So far, we have learned one simple thing. Instead of finding another trader, you are trading with a reserve of tokens, a reserve that other people have contributed to. That's the big idea behind a liquidity pool. One thing to remember, the reserve doesn't become empty every time someone makes a trade. When one coin leaves the reserve, another coin enters it. The mix of coins in the reserve keeps changing, but it never becomes empty. But what happens if everyone wants the same coin? Let's understand this with a simple example. Imagine an exchange with $100 and 100 euros. Now traders line up to get only dollars. They pay €1 to get $1. So to take out $50, 50 euros are deposited. Now the reserve contains $50 and 150 euros. At this point, the exchange recognizes an imbalance and wants to bring the reserve back into balance. To do that, it wants more dollars coming in and few dollars going out. So it starts offering more euros to people who bring in dollars. At the same time, it discourages people from taking dollars out. How? By increasing the price of dollars. Now traders may have to pay 3 euros for $1, and that changes people's behavior. Some traders start bringing dollars into the reserve because they can now get more euros in return. Others stop taking dollars out because dollars have become more expensive. Over time, the reserve moves back into balance. And that's one of the ways a liquidity pool keeps trading alive. Now at this point, liquidity pools might sound really attractive. People contribute crypto, trades keep happening, and liquidity providers earn rewards. So why doesn't everyone do it? Because rewards are only half the story. Every liquidity pool comes with risks, and there are 3 risks worth knowing about. The first is impermanent loss, the second is smart contract risk, and the third is rug pull risk. Let's look at them one by one. The biggest risk is something called impermanent loss. And don't worry about the complicated name. Let's keep it simple for the sake of understanding. Imagine the exchange is building a reserve and you decide to contribute $100. Over the next few months, you earn rewards for helping the reserve. So far so good. But remember, traders are constantly using the reserve. And if they keep taking dollars out from the reserve, those dollars are gradually replaced by euros. Over time, the dollars in your share decrease while euros increase. Eventually, your share contains only euros. Now let's say you decide to withdraw your share from the reserve. So you ask the exchange for your dollars. But since everybody has been taking dollars out, the exchange is discouraging dollar withdrawals. It is now asking 3 euros for $1. So with your share of 100 euros, you would only be able to get back about $33. So even though you earned rewards, you ended up with far fewer dollars than the $100 you originally contributed. That's the loss. That loss is called impermanent loss. The second risk is smart contract risk. Remember, liquidity pools are controlled by a code. And like any software, code can have bugs. If a bug is discovered, people can lose money. The third risk is the rug pull risk. Some bad actors create a project, attract liquidity, attract investors, and then disappear with the funds. That's why researching a project before investing is so important. So in simple terms, a liquidity pool is a reserve of crypto coins kept ready for trading. It helps keep trades alive even when buyers and sellers are not available. And that's why liquidity pools became one of the most important building blocks in DeFi. After watching this video, would you consider becoming a liquidity provider? Let me know in the comments. And if this video helped you understand liquidity pools, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.